I believe the American society has been designed around making people function as numbers, and I find it simply to be unbearable, if I'm being honest. I'm 21 now, but I started working when I was 16. I've had 7 jobs since then, and the only common trait I found between each and every one, whether I'm doing guard work, delivering pizzas, AutoZone, so many different places you would think, yet they all still try to break you down. That is the one commonality between each and every one, and it's exhausting. It's a cycle. I mean, everyone needs money, everyone spends it. That's just how it is. But I think the humiliation kind of starts before you even have the job. I mean, when you're filling out the resume, who is honestly truthful about their experience on a resume nowadays? Because it's not just like you don't get the benefit of lying, you are put up against a bunch of liars. And I think that kind of blows. I think step one of the process, you're already having to try to be the person you think society wants instead of who you are. That's not great. At this point, if you were unlucky, you probably got the job. I'm sorry for you. I mean, the opposite is homelessness, but I mean, like, we're comparing apples and oranges, you know? If you got the interview, the next step is you get to be asked stupid fucking questions that a minimum wage employee would have never known the answer to. Like, name one time you've diffused a situation with a customer. As if you, being minimum wage, would have ever been in the circumstance to do that and not just have gone to a manager to begin with. So you lie. You lie. You do what you have to do to get the job because if you don't get the job, you're going to fucking die. And that's worse than lying in this situation. At this point, if you took theater class, you probably got the job. You did the little performance, you got what you needed, and the person likes you enough to hire you. You lied the best. Well, now you get to experience the one fun part of the job, exploring the place, which is probably the best part, in my opinion. And you get to meet the day one crew. It only gets worse. So savor the day ones. Truly, they will be fired. If you're like me and have that whole empathy thing going on, you will get to start experiencing the first bad part. You get to see everyone else who's worked there and how it's affected them. Most of the time, their dreams have been crushed, and you can't help but see yourself as them in the future if you continue on this path. It's miserable, and for me at least, it makes me think about every day I'm gonna have to experience this if I existed there as long. I personally cannot imagine spending 365 days of my life putting boxes up, you know? I think that shit's miserable, and it low-key makes me want to kill myself, if I'm being honest. I've got to experience a few of these people that make work life look miserable and a career look horrible. I had a manager named Joseph. Kind of goated, not gonna lie. He never fired me. I quit before he put it through because he's chill like that. Um, I'd seen him multiple times have to like spit shine corporate's boot, even though he's like a 50-year-old man, just so he can go and watch his kid's football game. That's miserable. It's miserable. He'd worked there for a good time, good long time, probably like 2 decades. I mean, like he knew the store in and out, and he had zero respect. Um, at Papa John's, I experienced a kid who didn't make enough money to get gas, so he would sleep in the store at night, and I would occasionally drive him home like 40 minutes after my shift. It was already like 12, but you know, I can't see people as numbers like these careers do. Careers, 'cause it's not a fucking career. It's a shithole. If you're like me and have been pointed in other directions at this point, such as college, I don't know why so many people are pointing in that direction nowadays. I mean, I have my guard certification, which allowed me to step up in life to 21 bucks an hour. Not great, around 45,000 a year for what I was doing, but do I really want to go through 4 years of school so I can collect a bunch of debt that I have to pay off and now make like 60 grand a year? I understand there's higher than that, but I mean, how far into the future do you want your payoff to be? I also find the career aspect to be horrible. I mean, I worked at the Marriott for a bit and I thought, oh man, this is a huge place with so many opportunities. I should stick around and work my way up. Work my way up when? I mean, it's going to be years till you get anywhere reasonable. I wanted to go into HR for some reason because I had this delusion that HR protected the workers somehow. I don't know who put that in my brain. HR is just the fucking corporation you work for. It's literally just protecting them all the time. Human resources? Yeah, it's because the humans are resources to be used by the company. That's where that name comes from. It's not some nice shit. There's a YouTuber I like called Jet Franzen. Probably mispronounce his name every time I say it. I've never heard him say it. But he said a career is a waste of a life. And, I agree, but I used to think it wasn't a necessary waste. It was guaranteed mediocrity. You were never going to fail, but you were never going to reach for the stars either. But I don't even think that's true nowadays. I mean, we see people get laid off left and right, and it has nothing to do with them. It's just the company wasn't hitting profit goals, and you suck. Get the fuck out of here, homeless boy. I hate you. I hate you. That's how it feels. I mean, we've seen like half of whole cities get laid off and just have their economies crumbled. Yeah, if we look at numbers, it's not that bad. Oh, it's like, 1% of the workforce here, 1%, who cares? To those people, it's their entire life. You fucked everything up. You fucked up their town, you fucked up their house. You ruined their life. So, am I going to bend over and slobber on your knob just because you pay me a little bit? I don't think so. I don't think that's the method, personally. Now, if you've heard all this and still have a job, well, you've been in the shithole long enough to experience the next fun part. You get to watch everyone fun or enjoyable in your work leave. Because anyone who has a spine will be removed over time. I had one good manager named Ian. He was probably like 5 years older than me, 25, let's call it that. He clearly was working his way up in life, driving the old Dodge Neon to work, just putting his nose down. Well, he got disrespected quite a lot by an older man, not because he was any lesser, but because he was simply younger. And eventually, this guy pushed his buttons and pushed his buttons while he tried to manage the situation until Ian snapped. I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was some yelling, there was some screaming. I don't think Ian did anything worse than the older man. Ian was removed from the store permanently and sent to a different location. Why? Because he wasn't willing to take it. Because he still had a little spine left in him. Because he wasn't this emulsified mass of what a corporate world thinks makes a good person. I mean, am I the only one who feels embarrassed when workers have to do their little song and dance? They got to hit their little fucking gritty real quick because they got to fucking it's what corporate told them to do. Ah, ah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Does that not feel awkward? Does it fool the older generation that this isn't just lying to them? This isn't reality. This is what they were told to do. I see no difference in a forced behavior and lying because it's not truthful to themselves. But maybe that's a me thing. I don't know. Ian taught me a lot about how hard it is to work your way up in a corporate ladder. I mean, like, he was doing everything right, but at the end of the day, someone who was simply older mattered more than him. And I feel that way in my career path too, which I'm no longer on. But when I was on, it seemed much less to matter what I was doing, what recommendations I had. It truly felt like I just was getting older and I kept getting paid more. But it's at such a slow rate that it's miserable. It You feel like a little hamster on a wheel trying to move your way somewhere. But somewhere is just at like a slight incline. I mean, you'll have a house when you're like 40, and I don't want a house when I'm 40. I don't want to live with my mother anymore, you know? Do you feel me? I feel me. So that leads me to where I am today. I do handyman work on the side, which is hilarious because I now earn more than a day than any of my bosses ever have, which feels like it should be good for me, which it is, but it also makes me just feel bad for them. Like, they don't get to go back and try this again. They dedicated themselves to a career that didn't care about them, left them still paying mortgages at 60, still having to work, retirement out of sight, and working to death looking more likely than any other outcome. I think anyone out there who wants to do anything better should look at their skills and think about how they can monetize it to be self-employed. Sorry, I'm looking at a helicopter back there. I like helicopters. I think they're pretty cool. If your skill is less easily monetized, but you still have passion, I do really recommend YouTube. I know it's easy coming from me, where it's like, oh yeah, look at him, he's trying to do YouTube. Fucking kind of failing at it, but still trying nonetheless. I mean, clearly I'm just overly optimistic. I don't think I'm overly optimistic about YouTube. My expectations are so incredibly low for this shit. Yet, I still think the lowest outcome is still better than what a career could bring me. I would take getting the word out there over the $14 an hour I can make at AutoZone. I would take it over the 21 I made at Marriott because it's just not fulfilling. No matter how much money I make. All these jobs have felt near pointless, in all honesty. And if you're going through it, like I have, you are not alone. I felt alone at the time because I think everyone does this thing where they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it because to talk about it is to acknowledge it. To acknowledge it is to accept that you might spend 40 years of your life miserable, doing nothing. But I'm going to talk about it. I talk about it as much as I want because fuck them. Fuck them all. These jobs have gotten me some things. I mean, I'm grateful that I was able to make the money to buy a GoPro, buy a mic, own a bike, pay my insurance. But I've also experienced some of the most depressing moments of my life at these jobs. I would get home from Papa John's, a restaurant which is now closed down, and I would it would be midnight. It would be midnight. I had just worked all day. I'd get home, no one would be awake, no one would be on Discord, and I would sit and chain smoke cigarettes. There was nothing else for me to do. It was horribly depressing. And I was making pretty good money. After tips and stuff, I was at like 21 an hour. I would never do that again. I would never do that again. And I've had multiple jobs like that. The Marriott was fun because I'd sit on roofs all night, but that type of isolation drove me nuts. Even if I think that taking a job like that when you're young is one of the best ways to make more money. You have to look at what you are able to do that others aren't. It's going to drive you insane to try to earn some more money when you're young. If you are going through these experiences, you are not alone. Feel free to talk to me in the comments. I might even add you on something a little more personal if you'd like, because there's many others going through it. And I don't want to tell you it gets better because that's what everyone's told me. I don't know if it gets better. I'm trying to make it better as we talk. But this has been Cody Cashin. I love you, my sweet little wage slaves. Thank you.